my god. I mean, it's probably pretty obvious, but yeah, I gave this book 5 stars. Also 5 stars. Honestly, I could cry just thinking about this book. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. For today's video, I am going to be doing my August wrap up. August was not the best month for me. You may know that I was not posting on YouTube at all throughout August. I was not reading very much throughout August. I read a great book at the start of the month, then I went into a massive slump, and then I finished off the month with another couple of books when I was coming out of my slump. So this is going to be a very small August reading wrap up, but I promised myself earlier in the year I was going to start doing wrap ups and I was going to do them no matter how big or small. So that's what we're doing. So if you'd like to hear more about the books that I read in August, then keep watching. So I read a total of 3 books in August, which to be honest for some people is a great goal. For me, usually I like to read at least 1 book a week, so a minimum of 4 or 5 books. So 3 is just a little bit less than that, so it's not too bad. I would have liked to have got round to more, but as I said, I was going through a little bit of a reading life slump, so I had to allow myself to get through that, and now I am very much back on the reading wagon. But the first book that I read in August was Watch Over Me by LaCour, and I absolutely loved this book. It was not what I was expecting at all. When I read the blurb and when I heard about it, I had a very different idea in mind of how this book was going to go. It was a lot more sort of lyrical and atmospheric and more abstract, I guess, than I had first anticipated, but I loved every second of it. So this book follows the character of Mila, who after aging out of the foster system, she takes a teaching job on the North California coast in a very remote area on an isolated farm by the cliffs. She takes this job for the isolation, for the change of scenery, and to try and find some sense of self, some sense of home, and maybe a family. When she arrives here, it turns out that the farm is haunted by ghosts, and as she continues her journey on this job, her own past starts to haunt her, and more of her memories start to come up about her past and what she has been through, and she has to try and deal with that. This book is absolutely beautifully written, like one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. The ghosts are like real. You actually see ghosts dancing around on the field in front of the house, like white shiny ghosts. That I was not anticipating. When I heard that the place was haunted and there was ghosts, I thought maybe you might see like a flicker of a shadow or something like that. I didn't expect there to be actual real ghosts like the type that we talk about in like children's stories, but it was actually beautifully done, and I can't really say too much about how this book goes because it would be very spoilery, but you need to read it and go on that emotional journey yourself. It basically follows Mila coming to terms with her past and who she is and who she wants to be, along with a lot of other sort of damaged children who are all in this school on this farm as well. All of the people that they take into this farm are all children that have been in the foster system, and this couple take in these sort of damaged children and try to heal them and heal themselves as well, and it's just a really beautiful book. It's also a really quick read. I think it's less than 200, just over 250 pages, so if you're looking for a quick emotional read with beautiful writing, this is the one you want to pick up. The next book that I read in August was another emotionally charged one, and that was A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This was my first Patrick Ness book, which I know is ridiculous. People have been telling me to check out his writing for too long, and I cannot believe it's taken me this long because actually, I'm not sure if I mentioned this was 5 stars. I mean, it's probably pretty obvious, but yeah, I gave this book 5 stars. I can't remember if I mentioned that or not, but yeah, 5 stars. Also 5 stars was A Monster Calls. There was no other rating that I could have given this book. Again, absolutely beautiful, so emotional, so beautifully written. This book follows the character of Connor, who is a young boy whose mum is terminally ill with cancer. She is undergoing all sorts of different treatments like chemo and things like that, but nothing really seems to be working, and Connor has the same nightmare every night about this. You don't actually find out what that nightmare is until later on in the book, but we know that it's a very difficult one for him to relive every night. But then one night he wakes up and there is a visitor outside his window in the form of a tree or a monster, and this monster comes along because it says that Connor called it to him. Connor doesn't believe he's done that, but he listens nonetheless, and the monster continues to visit him every night at the same time. I want to say like 12:08 1209? I want to say 1209. It doesn't really matter, but he visits him at the same time every night, and he tells him that he is going to tell him 3 stories from his past because he has walked this world for many, many years being called on by different people. He's going to tell him 3 stories about different people that he has met along the way, and when he has finished those 3 stories, Connor must tell him a 4th story, and that 4th story must be the truth. The truth that Connor is holding in and refuses to let out, and that truth is also his nightmare that he is experiencing most nights as well. That's all I can really say about this one. Again, it's just a very emotional book. Again, it's about an individual's emotional journey and ultimately just about this little boy trying to come to terms with and understand what is happening to him and what is happening to his mum and the grief that he is feeling. And honestly, I could cry just thinking about this book. As I've said many times before, it takes a lot for a book to make me cry, but this one definitely did. 5 stars, no doubt about it. The final book that I read in August was The Secret Life of Writers by Guillaume Musso. This one again was a surprise to me. This one was actually an ARC that was sent to me by, I want to say, Orion Books? Yeah, Orion Books. It actually came out on the 22nd of July, I believe, so I was late in getting to it, but I have done a whole vlog on it. It's actually the last vlog that went up. You'll have seen me reading this book and giving my thoughts on it, so you may know already that I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. It was a great thriller. The actual thriller aspect of it was fantastic, but also just the general ideas and writing as well. So this one, in its basic sense, is about a famous author named Nathan Falls, who, after publishing 3 cult novels, announces that he is ending his writing career and retiring to the isolated island of Beaumont near France, I believe, on the Mediterranean coast. And no one knows why he decides to do this. He seems to be in his prime, his writing is amazing, he seems to be loving it in all of his other interviews, and then suddenly he takes off and retires to this island, and he does not want to speak to anyone about his writing. He will not do any interviews. If anyone comes near him, he shoots them with a shotgun. If they come onto his property, he takes himself off to this island and pretty much keeps to himself. Then we have the character of Matilda Mooney, who is a Swiss journalist who arrives on the island supposedly determined to find out the secret of why Nathan stopped writing. But then we also have a murder take place on the island. There's a young woman that is found nailed to a tree, and therefore the island is completely cut off. No one is allowed to leave it or come onto it until they find out who the murderer is. And then we have this face-off between Matilda and Nathan, both with their own secrets, both trying to figure things out. There are other characters in this as well, but that's kind of the main gist of the story that you need to know. But overall, this book was amazing in its writing because at its basis it is all about the act of writing, the act of reading, how reality is used to create fiction, how the line between fiction and reality can be blurred. And this is one of those novels that is like literary inception. It has so many layers to it, and by the end of it my brain was absolutely fried. Like, I got to the end and honestly Guillaume Musso's brain is genius because I don't know how he did this. It is so twisty and turny. I think I said in my vlog the first half is quite a slow read, but once you get past the first half, oh my god, it takes off. I could not put it down. It was twisting, it was turning, it was fast paced, it was frying my brain. It was just brilliant, and I do love books that talk about books and about writing and that sort of intertextuality where a book is very aware of itself and aware of the fact that it is fiction or it is a piece of writing, and it draws on that. Honestly, so clever, but also the actual thriller aspect, as I said before, is just great in its own right without that. So yeah, great read. Would definitely recommend it to any thriller readers. So sadly that is it. Those are the 3 books that I read in August 2021. As I said, I've had hoped to read more, but I should be proud of myself for the 3 that I did read, and what is great is that the 3 that I did read were all 4 or 5 star reads. I had a great reading month, just not a prolific one. I'm so excited for September. I'm already off to a great start and I feel like I'm going to get lots of reading done this month, obviously taking part in the magical readathon, and yeah, cannot wait for my September wrap up. I think it'll be a good one. So that is it for, I am assuming, this very short video. If you did enjoy it, as always, do please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe for more bookish content from me. Comment down below with any of your thoughts and feelings. I do reply to every single comment. I love you all and I will see you in my next one.